Good evening and welcome everyone here on Wednesday evening. Rick, I see you're in the comments, and Rob Sims so far. Thank you both for joining. Rick says you made it. You think? Yes, sir. It's a struggle getting this going every Wednesday evening, but now we're here. Time to have a little bit of fun. Rob Sims, glad you joined us as well. Cool place. Like to see a few more on here before I take off. But tonight we're going to talk a little bit about cows. We're going to talk a little bit about hunting. Going to talk about some guns. I was recently at an auction and I was able to pick up some old ammo. Rick, I think some of that ammo you had told me about, and I was able to pick it up. Talking about deer season here on Wednesday night in Oklahoma. I've just got one picture to share with you on the week of a first buck for a lady that was sent to me, and I did not write down. Here she is. Beautiful buck, beautiful young lady. You can see there they've got some, looks like in the background on the trees, they've got a winch, they've got a crossbow that she took him with. First deer ever, first buck for her. And they've also got a inverter, a power inverter over there to the left side. I'm sure they're probably at deer camp and everybody's having a good time fixing to probably get started on processing that big old buck. Hope everything is going well for you all. Beautiful weather here in Oklahoma this week. Let me think, 73 degrees here November the 19th. It doesn't get much better than that. Hello there, Michael Boyd Outdoors. Good to see you. Hope things are going well in Texas. And yes, Michael, if you caught the intro, you've seen a little bit of this week's news. Big week for us here in Oklahoma. We've got gun season starting up on Saturday. It's a 16-day season. I wish they'd remove it back to 9 days like they used to whenever I grew up. But it is a 16-day season. Starts the Saturday before Saturday before Thanksgiving. That is gun season, and it runs not the Sunday after Thanksgiving, but one more full week. Bucks have been breeding does for about 2 weeks here in Oklahoma. You might be lucky enough to see them out in an open field paired up with a doe. Other than that, we've had a little bit warmer than normal weather and haven't been seeing the deer on the normal patterns, but I expect here in a few days they will be unlocked and they'll be looking for more does. You might remember last week I shared it was just what I called a buck parade. Numerous bucks walking right by scrapes. All they're doing is coming through their scent check and looking for does. Yep, Michael, you did get a great buck. I showed that last week. I want to show, this is my buck. I also showed it last week, but if you guys missed it, this was a 6-pointer wide, 24 3/4 inches outside. And he was 23 1/2 inside spread. Just a 6-pointer, old buck. Turns out we had several years worth of pictures of him and videos as well. Carter, my youngest, this is a doe. He harvested this last week with his compound. He had a little bit of compound trouble, had a limb somehow crack on his compound. He's got 2 of them, so he quickly took his hunting bow, took everything he wanted off of it, put it on this bow, and he's got a new limb ordered, but that was the first blood he had drawn on the year, and he was happy to take him a nice mature doe. You guys, I'm sure everybody on here that hunts eats what they shoot. We do as well. Let's see, last night we had liver and onions out of Carter's doe. Of course, the onions didn't come out of Carter's doe, but the liver sure did. Tasted great. Carter, he might be a chef someday. He's enjoyed doing some cooking lately. Yeah, I agree there, Rick. He's growing up right, taking does, and we're eating just about every inch of them that we can. So he enjoys doing some of that cooking. We had backstrap one night, and we had liver and onions another night. I want to get on down here, show you what I've been doing today. Remember, November 19th, running the Kubota across the grass pasture. I was overseeding some grass, scattering a little bit of rye, putting it about 1 inch deep. We're forecasted to get some rain tomorrow. Might get 3/4 of an inch, they say. That would be fantastic, and if so, I'll have some spring grazing. here on some Bermuda grass pastures. Always come in handy. I had about, maybe close to 40 bushel left over, so I overseeded about 20 acres and kind of cleaned it up out of the drills. Also, will add for some pretty good grazing. I want to read some of these comments. Michael says a Big Six a trophy on many hunters' wish list. Yes, sir. He was on mine for years, or a Big Six. It didn't matter which one he was. I'd had that on my bucket list for many years. Rick says you remember when it was just 9 days back in the good old days. Yes, sir. Me too. Yeah, Rick, she's hooked now. Heck of a buck that she got. My first one, he's not in here. I don't even know where he's at. This room is completely full of deer. There's 30 some deer heads hanging up in here. About half of them are mounts and about half of them are European mounts. So one of these days I'll put another camera in here where you guys can get a view on some of those as well. This old cow here, she's not terribly old, but she's gentle. She's been gentle the whole time that I've owned her. I feed on the ground about 50% of my farms, and I feed in the feed bunks on about 50%, but she lets me scratch all over her. I've got a couple great nieces that like to go with me sometimes and pet on her. There's her, about a 5.5-month-old calf that she raised. I've got a granddaughter going to be born any minute. Already have a couple grandkids. Look forward to them all being able to spend some time with me out on the farm and getting right on out there, have some fun with the livestock as well. Today actually it was yesterday, I had solar pump trouble. I put out a solar video earlier in the year. You can see my controllers and my timer there. My 12-volt solar pumps that I had, the company quit making them. So I had to buy another 12-volt system. The controllers were not in the pumps down in the water, so I had to come up with my own controllers. If you haven't seen that video, I put it out a few months ago, but that just shows one more thing that I was doing today for the cattle out on the wheat pasture. With gun season coming up, I'm not sure what you guys' favorite gun is. The last few years, I have been overjoyed to take a lever action to the field. This year, I've got a scope on this 30-30, and I plan to take down a mature buck with it. I have been waiting the last couple of weeks rather than going bow hunting. I was afraid I'd be tempted to shoot a nice buck, and I wanted to take one down with that gun. And I've got another gun that I run out of daylight between everything I had going today. This is a 223. It's a Harrington and Richardson. First shots I'd ever fired through it was this evening. And I've got it to where I was about a ½ inch to the right. So pretty close. I'll get the thing sighted in a little bit more. Jacob Lewis, glad to see you on here. I have a 308, Jacob, and it was on my list to get it out today. Run out of time. It is actually an AR-10, but I did take down, I think it was just 2 does last year with my 308 that is a Thompson 308. But the AR-10 308, I put a scope on it this week. I have not got around to shooting it yet. If it's not raining tomorrow after I get the cows fed, that might be one thing that I do, is get that 308 sighted in. Here in this region, I don't want to speak for everybody in Oklahoma, but you can take one antlered deer with your rifle. We can take up to 4 does right here. I'm not for sure about southeastern Oklahoma, how many antlerless deer they could take. 7 mag, it's a great caliber as well, Rob Sims. But that 223 is going to take down a doe or 2. That 30-30 is hopefully going to get me on a mature buck. And that 308, the AR-10, like I said, I just put the scope on it this week, Jacob, and I plan on taking down a doe or 2 with it. So this gun season, we will put some more meat in our freezer. We'll also help out some neighbors who have requested some meat. Want to make sure everybody knows I'm 100% legal. We shoot them. I tag them. I contact the neighbors, tell them, hey, we're skinning them. We're going to cut them up. If you're still interested in one, come get it. If not, it's going in our freezer. So we've helped out some neighbors like that, talked to our church preacher. We're helping out that away as well if anybody needs some extra. We butcher some beef throughout the year as well, but we do love the taste of deer meat. If you have never mixed sausage, pork sausage, with deer meat, it's great. My wife goes about 50-50 with it. She is not a beef eater. Unfortunately, the last few years, she found out she was allergic to it, constantly sick. So we had to find a little bit of an alternative for her. She doesn't like deer meat alone, but she likes the ground pork sausage and the deer meat mixed together. I want to get over here on a little bit of a livestock report. This is Enid Livestock, not too far down the road from me. They're expecting 2,200 head tomorrow's run. Saw this video this evening. They said they had 1,850 head already on hand and would have 2,200 expected for tomorrow. That's going to be all sizes, cows, calves, bulls, anything in between. And the Fairview Livestock Market, should be some audio right here. Look at that, 466 pounders, and they bring an even $5 a pound. So if you're not familiar with cattle, $5 a pound would also mean $500 for every 100 pounds. Those cattle was shy of 500 pounds. 466 pounders at $5 a pound. It's going to be about $2,850 a head. I'm sorry, $2,350 a head. I'm trying to figure in my head right there. 34. Be about $170 shy of $2,500 right there. So $2,370 right there for those weaning calves. Last week I showed you I had a 3x5 mature buck. He was making a scrape and he wasn't even under a tree right there. I told you guys he might have been mad because he had 3 on one side and 5 on the other. Well, unfortunate news. He was one that I was hopeful that I might be able to bear down with on that 30-30. And here he is since last week coming through there. I put it in slow motion for you. He's still got his 3 on his right. He has broke off at least that brow tine on his left. You can tell as many does as he's been running, he's run a little bit of weight off of himself as well. The big 6 that I just shot was missing his left brow tine. I didn't know he was missing it whenever I took him. It was a little bit disheartening whenever I realized he was missing it. If you haven't watched that video, go back and check it out. It was a little bit longer video than I intended on doing, but I sure enjoyed the hunt. It was a tough one to do. But once I saw he was missing that brow tine, it hurt me down deep just a little bit. This 3x5, he might get a pass from me this year. We've got some other bucks that are mature. Kind of seem to be 8-pointers in this area this year. Not anything that I'd call just a whopper of a set of antlers, but just good, solid, mature deer. Going to all be in that 180 to 200 pound range. But none of them's racked. Probably score over 130, 135 inches, just about like that 3x5 that you saw right there. I'm going to look over here, see what I've got on the list. Oh, some ammo. Rick Hicks, you like ammo, don't you? Anybody else? Have you ever heard of a 32 long, and I'm going to pull one of them out of here. These are old, folks. These boxes are old. Hopefully you can read that. Canuck is what it says. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it says $8.95. So I'm not sure what year those would have been made or sold. This box here's got a little bit of a tear in the top, so I'm going to pull one out. So they are rimfire. Just to give you 32 longs. And these are smokeless, made by Canuck. How's it going there, David? Good to see you. Yeah, there it is, Rick. And Fear Not Farm, Dakota. Glad you joined in. It's okay if you're late. We've been talking about deer this upcoming gun season. I also went to an auction, picked up some old ammo. I got 5 boxes of this Canuck, 32 short and 32 long. Now they are rimfire like a 22. So, did y'all have a pretty dry spring and summer? Michael, we were dry until April, and then we started having rain. We had good moisture from April until about July. We went through about a month right there, and that we didn't get much rain. Then we got right back into it in August, and then September through October we didn't get any rain, but we've been blessed with it ever since. That's why the rye pasture looks so good. And yeah, there wasn't a tremendous amount of antler growth up here. Dakota says you've got an old octagonal 32 caliber barrel. Not sure what went with it. Yeah, well, thanks for getting in here, David and Dakota and Michael. Hope that answers your question about the antler growth. 32 long rifle right here. And Rick, you know more about them than I do. Can you tell us about what age that gun would be? Seems like it was older, could have been made pre-1900, but you think this ammo was in the 1990s, okay? So then there was just a bag of it here also. I got 1, 2, 3 of those boxes. I thought that there's more in the box still. And then there's a bag full of it here. Got to get just right where you can see that. Well, those were advertised to be 32s. I just realized they are not. They're larger. A little bit dark in here, and I can't see what those are. They were advertised to be 32s, and I think they're just a little bit larger than 32s. They might end up being the same. You think the Canuck was made in Canada in the 1990s on that brand of ammo? So, Rick, sometimes whenever you're up here, we'll have to get these out, take a look at them. I knew Rick had a 32 rimfire. And the next thing that I did get some 30-06 ammo. I also picked up some 30-30. Now look at this old box. 30-30 Remington. It said $3.95 on the box. And silver tip, hopefully you can see that okay. Silver tip on the 30-30. I think that is going to be what takes down a mature buck with me. There's a 44 rimfire. Well, David, that might have possibly been what I just pulled out of that sack. It looked bigger than the 32 to me. But here we've got the silver tipped. It looks like aluminum on the end. And then the other box that was this old 30-30, just for comparison, the one in my left hand's the silver tip. The one in my right is just the regular flat nose. And I'm typically shooting 150 grain out of my 30-30, but I'm going to keep my sights under 100 yards. I really think I'll get it done probably in less than 50 yards. But some old 30-30 ammo, and I gave $10 a box. And then for the silver tip, I gave $15 a box. Walk in the store to get it today, and it is over $30 just about everywhere that I have seen. You're trying to trade an old Hobart MIG welder for a Browning 30-06. It's the old BBR before the X-Bolt. Browning. Yeah, Browning. My brother had a 7 mag that was a Browning X-Bolt. Also got some 3840. Now these 3840, Rick or anybody else here, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but these 3840s, they was pistol rounds. They were also lever action guns that were made pre-1900. When these rounds come out, the old cowboys had these back in the day. I've got a friend who's got 3840, and I will invite him out sometime and we'll do some shooting now that we've got some ammo, because you don't see this stuff every day. I gave $1 a round for the ammo. I think it'll be well worth it so we can feel like an old cowboy. The gun's behind me. You guys tell me which one you like the looks of better. This is the 220. This is the 223 that I showed a clip of shooting. It is the Harrington and Richardson. I had never shot it until today. This is a used gun that I was able to pick up to Hoyle Creek. Hoyle Creek's located in Mino, Oklahoma. Rex and Brian up there are the owners. And if you've watched very many of my videos, you have seen this Henry Golden Boy. It's the HO24 model. It's the 30-30 that I plan to do most of my gun hunting, or would like to take down a mature buck with this 30-30 anyways. And I had previously sighted this in. There's a video that I put out 5 or 6 months ago with it. I had also, before I put the scope on it, I had taken a doe with it last about Christmas time period. So those are two of my guns that I'm going to be using this hunting season. This is this is one other box of that 30-30 that I did pick up. Sure would be a fun lever gun. Yes, it is. This is some of the other older 30-30 ammo that I picked up. Gave $10 a box for it. Somewhere on this box I saw, $8.47. I'm not sure what year that would have been sold, but I hate to tell you that I gave $10 for it, but $10 for it's still cheaper than $30 for a brand new box. So I'm going to shoot some of this older stuff this gun season. Going to have a good time doing it and keep taking down some more whitetails. Going to try and check out some of these comments. Fast Draw Rick, when you going to come up, bring a gun and have some fun? And Dakota, next time you're over this way, holler and we'll get some lunch if you're close, working on some elevators. Eckert, there's a 44 rimfire. I think I already read that comment. Yep, David, you need to bring a gun down sometime. We can have some fun as well, and I hope you're out there deer hunting. Dakota, you going to be able to get those kids in the woods this weekend over Thanksgiving time period? I bet Rick and I bet Eld Match does a number on deer. Eld Match, I'm not sure. Ammo's what you shot in a Colt Beasley pistol. Yeah, the 3840. I thought that was yours, Rick, the 3840. And then I've got a friend in Enid who has a 3840 as well. 73 grain, Eld Match does a number on the deer. So the 73 grain, what are you shooting that out of, Dakota? Winchester Model 92 3840 fast draw. You remember that H&R? Yep, David, I looked at it for several weeks coming back and forth in there, didn't I? You've got a thing for the H&R. I have owned a few of those H&Rs. I've got a 30-30 that's H&R. I left that stinking thing behind the seat of my truck. Probably was in there for a few years and had forgot about it. It got a little bit of rust on my other H&R that I've got. I've got that 223. I think that's the only H&Rs that we've got, David, but I do enjoy them as well. If you're just joining in here, I want to show you guys, I'm going to get right back through it. I already talked to Rob. Rob, are you still on here? You guys planning on getting out there this weekend with your son and your daughters? If you're just joining in, here's the big 6 I got during black powder season. I'd also said Carter, my youngest son, got him a doe this last week in archery. One of the big bucks shot here in the state of Oklahoma was this young lady, her first buck. Oh, here's one thing that I had missed. Rob, I'll answer that in just a second. Here's one thing that I had missed, and I'm glad I went back through and saw it. So my son was filming. See this buck right here? He was hunting public land, and look from the buck over to your right. You can see there's some people there in the grass. So my son was filming. He did not have a tripod, and he was a little bit elevated. This mature buck is out there, standing up. Now watch these people to the right. Not very long, but the buck's going to disappear. You see him walking away, and there up comes, that is my buddy Brandon and his girlfriend Christina. So the buck is out of sight right there. Now he hadn't gone too far, and he's going to pop back up here in a minute. There he is. He had his head down. Now you notice that Brandon has drawn his bow, and the buck just fell. Now I'm not for sure how in the world Brandon did it that well, but he put an arrow. I'm going to rewind that thing. Get it back here where you can see. So Brandon's starting to stand up. I should have put this in slow motion, but as Brandon released that arrow, he hit that buck in the neck, and he goes straight down. The buck's fixing to show himself again. Public land looks like to me they were practically on top of him. Probably a 20-yard shot or something right there. Buck was focused on a doe, and there is the shot. The buck goes down. I really enjoyed seeing this celebration right there between Brandon and his girlfriend Christina. I'm glad Carter was able to catch some footage of that. I'll have to send that to Brandon. A little bit of a rejoicing going on right there. What a great feeling. I'm not sure how many of you hunt public land. It's a challenge itself, especially hunting from the ground. I'm going to read here. Walter Wild, what caliber's the handy rifle in the thumbnail? That is the 223. If you just joined in here, Walter, here it is. Today was my first day to get it out, shoot it all. I was running out of time, but shot it a few times right before dark this evening and got it in here for the video. I'm going to be using it and the 3030 Henry for this gun season here in Oklahoma. Walter, thank you for joining in. What are you in the state of Oklahoma? And are you a hunter yourself? I'm going to read some of these other comments for your 223 73 grain. I'm following you now, Dakota. Yeah. So Eckert, they've got an H&R and 4570. Heck, I'm a big old guy, but I don't want to kick like that. David Eckert. Yes, it was cool and impressive, Jacob Lewis. Dakota, you say your food plot's getting a good shower right now, raining over there. Yeah, Michael, that was a great video. Glad Carter was able to get that. I will make sure and get that to Brandon. I'm not sure if he has YouTube or not, but I'll send him a link to this and he can watch it tomorrow, and I'll be able to send him that link. All of you guys that are going to be out there hunting, come this weekend, kids, grandkids, aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, wives, whatever. You guys take down a deer, send it to me. This week I didn't get very many sent to me, but I'll get them put in next week's episode. I don't predict hunting to be great this weekend. Still going to be a little bit warm, but as the week gets on, next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures are going to be falling a little bit. All these bucks that have been breeding does and locked down, they're going to be on their feet, traveling and looking for more does, and I am sure they're going to be a lot harvested throughout the state. The majority of the does in this area, I believe, will be bred. Bucks will be hungry, and bucks will still be looking for that last doe, so it should be a great time. If you didn't join in and see the livestock reports, I want to mention to you 2,200 head tomorrow here at Enid Livestock. This is just a little snip of what they've got coming. And Fairview Livestock, you can hear the audio. 466 pounders bring $5 a pound. Market has dropped off from where it was a few weeks ago, but it's still a pretty stout market. Calves bring 2,300 and some dollars a head there. Showed you Brandon's deer. Walter, Wild. Here is the 30-30 that I shot also tonight before I started the live feed. And then I'll show you that 223 as well in case you joined in here just a little bit late. For anybody who does join in late, sometimes you can always check it out the next day as well. Start in wherever you want and watch the video. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it if you did so. If you've got a friend or somebody that think might enjoy this type of content, put them onto it as well. You can hit that share button and share it right to them. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate a subscription. Subscribing to these videos are free, and what it'll do is help you get a notification for next week's video. Glad to see you in here, Walter. Not sure where you're from yet. Haven't seen the answer, but hopefully you'll join us again. I'm going to read a few of these comments, and then I'm probably going to get on out of here. You saw a bit of lightning outside a little bit ago. Starting tonight, but we'll get more tomorrow. Yep, Rick, we're forecasted to get it tomorrow as well. Sometimes we all need a little bit of luck, Dakota. Yep, that's right. Congratulations, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon did a nice job on that buck right there. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I'll be on here next Wednesday. If you want to send me some pictures or short videos, you can do that through 3doutdoor@gmail.com. I'll get them put in next week's video. Good luck however you hunt. Make sure you wear your orange. That orange is not just for public land. It's for your safety, even on your private land. Wear a cap, wear a vest. If you're on public, you don't know where somebody is. If you're on your private land, you hope you know where everybody is, but you never know about somebody coming down the road with a gun out of their pickup. So Rob Sims there. Hey, yeah, so wear that orange, stay legal, have fun, and stay safe. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great evening, and God bless.